Welcome to the Tech Entrepreneurs Nebraska podcast. I'm Shauna Dorsey with the Aksarben Foundation and the Executive Director of the Nebraska Tech Collaborative. And today I'm here with
Will Mosby, Street Sense Corporation.
Okay, Street Sense Corporation. So you are from Omaha, but currently based out of Texas.
Correct, born and raised.
Okay, tell me about your Omaha roots and then how you ended up in Texas working on what you're working on.
Okay, so again, born and raised in Omaha, went to Minnelusa, then Monroe, and then graduated the best high school ever created, Omaha North High. And I'm here for my 30th class year reunion. Mm-hmm. And so after that, went to school in Arizona. I left like a few months after graduation. Started as entry-level type of technical positions after school, things of that nature. Be it that I've been programming since the age of 8.
Programming since 8 years old. Okay.
My mom, shout out to mom, she bought me a used Commodore VIC-20. Mm-hmm. For the old people, they know what that is. So I started programming that. I was in 3rd grade, and I loved it. And so as I entered the professional field, I was the engineer that could always automate tasks. Mm-hmm. So, from there, I worked at places like IBM and Toyota and Intel and DHL, HP. And then around 10 years ago, I said, hey, just like most engineers, like I'm the Uber engineer. I should have my own business. And then learned that the skill set to be an entrepreneur is completely different than being that guy or that gal. So, I was able to use my technical skills in those positions, and then I decided to do something more fulfilling, like spread that information with communities where I grew up. Mm-hmm. So it's been an amazing opportunity and a really amazing adventure.
Okay, and the company is called Street Sense.
Right, Street Sense Corporation is our 501c3.
Okay,
so that is the umbrella for our 2 for-profits. So our for-profits are Data Scrapers and Technofro. Data Scrapers, over the last 6-7 years, we've redistributed hundreds of pieces of equipment through our global international partners to places like Belize, Ghana, Liberia, Cameroon. Technofro was an offshoot of that we use. That's our official curriculum. Mm-hmm. So that's what we use to teach students things like computer programming, graphic design, aviation. I'm a general aviation pilot, engineering, and cybersecurity and AI.
Okay. And so for the pieces of equipment that you've redistributed, do you have your students work on them? Is that part of the curriculum, or how are the...
Actually,
yes. What am I looking for? Refurbished. That's the word.
It's refurbished, yes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily the students themselves. We partner with local high schools.
Awesome.
And we grab those students, and those students, they learn a skill. All of our curriculum we have 2 sets, one for career exploration for 8 to 18, and then 18 and old is for career preparation. So for the younger students, it's about just making it tech seem fun and cool. So for the older students, it's all focused around industry recognized certificates. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do that. So for the computer system that we redistributed, we work with local high schools, and we get their students that are in like a tech focus, and we bring them in. We teach them how to fix computers under professional supervision, how to program, how to use different operating systems, how to make them secure. And then they box them up. They coordinate with our international partners, and they send these computers off to these locations. So they get a lot of real world experience as far as like globalization and different cultures and things of that nature.
Right. And then also probably like people don't often think about this aspect of it, but just the fulfillment of knowing that you worked on something that is going to help make someone else's life better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I left corporate America. I guess the biggest thing when you jump from corporate America to the for change arena is your paycheck. You're like, whoa, people live this, But then I reflect. There's been times I was working in organizations, and I go through my call history, and all I see are calls from friends and family. And it's like, I'm trying to work, but there's no work to be done. Mm-hmm. So one thing that we focus on with our students is showing them power of, engaging with your mind and not your hands, as far as, getting paid for what you know how to do and not necessarily what you do. So, again, I've been very fortunate as far as my career, but I just wanted to give back.
That's really cool. So it's a new thing for us, but we're asking people to send us 3 things that they want to focus on in these conversations. So one of the things that you shared was just the idea that students should have some exposure to tech as part of their academic curriculum. I mean, we all agree with that, but tell us why that's important.
Because it's like a game changer. You know, like I said, I've had a very, very lucrative and professionally fulfilling career. You know, not both before nonprofit and as a IT engineer. And a lot of when I grew up in North Omaha, there was many places where you could play basketball, but very few places where you could hone your programming skills. So what we go in there and we focus on teaching kids how cool technology is. And this isn't just fun. You know, we show them the power of being a producer as opposed to a consumer, but this is also empowering, right? And it's like, okay, instead of me downloading an app, why don't I make an app? You know, I don't see a lot of video game characters that look exactly like me. So I can make a video game character that looks like me. Oh my gosh, right? And, you know, to see how professionals and accomplished people have the money work for them and kind of bridge that gap. The whole mission of TechnoFro is to bridge the gap between, you know, people and diverse communities as far as technology. So we work with a lot of rural and urban communities as well as affluent communities, because the one commonality that they have is all of their curriculum and whatnot is designed by amazing teachers. But, you know, our curriculum is designed by professional engineers, you know, our certified pilots, our flight instructors and things of that nature. So we can give them that real world perspective that a lot of curriculum and teachers, even though how amazing they are not able to provide.
That's critical. That's great. And then on the idea of tactical versus strategic, why? Well, I'm like asking these questions and I'm like, of course, like big picture, achieving more, but why strategic versus tactical? Because
sustainable change is the product of strategy. That's a Willism, I think. Willisms are little things I come up with, and the book will be out.
They're called what now?
Willisms.
Okay.
You know, and it's part of my larger Willosophy.
Oh, goodness.
You know? I know, right? And modesty. I'm very modest. Anyway, so the whole thing about teaching students that sustainable change is a product of strategy. So what we do when we start our aviation program, we included our chess program because we want kids to understand that, hey, you know, it's great to be able to think your way out of a problem. A lot of the school systems, by necessity, you know, they have to quantify the students' learning. So a lot of it is very tactical as far as, okay, learn this, take a test, do great. You know what? You're really good at math. You should be an engineer. Sometimes they don't have the option of asking students, do you want to be an engineer? Right? So that's why we focus on exposing to a lot of different trades so they can kind of pick the one that's best suited for their thing. So with the strategy is we teach them that, you know, everything successful usually starts as a plan.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And then, you know, just giving them the opportunity, I should say, to see the variety of occupations within tech. So it's not just, you can only be an engineer. That's the only way to be successful in tech. As we know, that's shifting a lot anyway under the current state of things. But there are many ways to be successful in this space, which is nice. So, but without exposure awareness, you just don't know.
So true.
So good deal. And the final one is about collective efforts versus siloed.
So, you know, was a whole African proverb about it takes a village, you know? So Street Sense, our nonprofits focus on, you know, showing disparate perspectives. You know, as far as if you live in an affluent part or if you live in a poor part, we have commonalities as people. And whereas a lot of media kind of focuses on profiting off of our differences, we focus on our commonalities. You know, even though there might be somebody ideologically completely different than us, we're saying that, well, let's try to look at it from their perspective. Because not only does that help you communicate better with them, but it also, you know, if it's some type of situation where it's kind of a conflict, being able to see from your opponent's perspective gives you a strategic advantage. So, but everything that we've been able to do as a country and as a community, you know, as far as like North Omaha, has been through, you know, working collectively. And that's a skill that's been lost, unfortunately.
100%. And it's like those partnerships are so key. And sometimes I think people get a little bit hung up on who gets the credit for what, whether that's a grant or a title of something or whatever it is. But what I found, and I'm sure you found this too, is over time it all works out anyway. So
true.
I don't ever worry about credit day one. I'm like, eventually it all works itself out. So
I tell
as long as the work gets done, that's the most important thing.
Right. And I tell people, you know, let other people brag for you. And when I talk to emerging businesses, Street Sense, we have a series of workshops, that are designed for a variety of ages and whatnot. In our adult series, we have things like the corporate vehicle. And we explain to them that at a certain level, you get more business through collaboration than competition. The world is so competition based. And me having worked for really big companies, they really don't have to collaborate because they have everything in-house. But then again, as a small company, I have no problem partnering with, if they might do the exact same thing as me. If we gel really great, I'm like, hey, I have a real big project. It's a little outside of our capacity at the moment, but we would love to bring you in and do some kind of collaboration. We're currently doing something with something similar with the schools in Dallas, where we're doing a collaboration between a bunch of scientists and the STEM. So we are working together to bridge that gap. And when we partner we've done missions in Ghana, Liberia, Cameroon, the places that we've sent equipment. We've also done missions in a lot of those countries. So not Cameroon, Belize, Ghana, Liberia. We've done missions there. And we try not to, or we don't, I'm sorry, we do not try to micromanage from abroad. We empower the local community, and we, give them equipment, give them our curriculum, our training, stuff like that. And then we're just here on the background in case they need to follow up. We use that same approach when we do our technical training sessions here in the States. We go to local schools, local high schools. If we're doing a program at a grade school, we'll go to the local high school and say, hey, do you have any seniors or juniors with early release that want to come and be mentors? It works great because the students, the younger students, they see people from their neighborhood that, oh, I know you're so-and-so. And for the students, it turns that education into experience that looks amazing on college applications.
Right. And, the near peer thing is invaluable. It's starting to become, and we're like way over 10 minutes, but that's okay. It happens.
Okay.
But
so you're going to cut stuff?
No.
I'll take one out to cut.
Every once in a while, we'll do that. But these topics, whenever it comes to empowering kids and what needs to happen for the success of the future and just ideas around that, then time is whatever. So what I was going to say though is that near peer experience is so good because as I get older, I'm just like, I cannot relate to kids anymore. And so the more that we can have high school mentoring elementary, college mentoring high school, and just like keeping them a little bit more connected, I think that's super powerful.
Oh, most definitely. So Street Sense as a nonprofit, our pillars are accountability, cohesion, efficacy, and strategy. So when we show communities how they can work internally to do amazing things, it changed their whole perspective, whereas before I'd have to drive 50 miles out to get this done. It's like, well, there might be somebody in my neighborhood that can do it. Right. And then as far as the environment for that community, it does great things because it keeps the money invested in that local community. Exactly.
And you have that local expertise because even though I think of Nebraska a lot, it's a geographically large state-ish compared to others, but population, not so much.
Right.
And so, but with that said, communities in different parts of the states have different personalities. And so to do an Omaha thing in greater Nebraska does not always work and vice versa. And so it's just like the more we can keep those resources localized and experiences, I think that makes a big difference too. So.
No, most definitely. Like I said, we work with disparate communities and it works out really well. The dynamic is having youth teach youth.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so final question is though you're in Dallas,
yes,
you're in Omaha today, you still have a passion for what's happening in the community and helping people do great things. What can individuals here do to support what you're up to, but like you said earlier, support Nebraska?
So I've been, in the last year, I've had communications and meetings with several community leaders, schools here in the Omaha, Nebraska area. And is this a place for me to plug my website?
Sure.
Okay. So streetsense.org is our nonprofit, but technofro.com, technofro.com is our technical training curriculum. So it's Technofro because it's a cool name. The kids love it. The logo has things that kids want to wear, stuff like that. We want to make technology cool. So so if you go to the website, technofro.com, there's a let's talk or learn more. But if you click that, it'll take you to a Google Calendar where you can schedule a time just to have a conversation with us. And what we're promoting right now heavily is our online program that started in September. Our online programs, they're designed by professional engineers and programmers. They're in graphic design, computer programming, and they're only $25 per session.
Okay. All right, we'll check it out, and we'll be sure to include some more of that info in the post about this. I'm just drawing a box with my hands like a LinkedIn post. So
I got you.
Anyway, thanks for being here and for the conversation.
No, I had fun. Thank you for having me.